Good evening. Two youths have appeared in court in connection with the death of a boy pulled from a burning skip. The teenagers have been charged with manslaughter and will appear at court again in September.
15-year-old Michael Temperley was pulled from a burning skip on Gateshead's Team Valley Retail Park 8 days ago. He died in hospital a few hours later. Last Thursday, two teenagers were charged with manslaughter. They'd been arrested at the scene, and today they were in court. The two Gateshead boys, aged 15 and 16, appeared dressed smartly in court number 1 here at Blaydon Magistrates. It was a youth court sitting, and for legal reasons, neither teenager can be identified. The pair spoke only to confirm their names, ages and addresses. They spoke quietly and were accompanied by parents. The charge and the bail conditions not to interfere with prosecution witnesses were read out and explained to them by the magistrates. The case has now been adjourned until September the 16th, when they'll appear before magistrates once again, but at Gateshead, as Blaydon will be closed for refurbishment.
Kim Ingalls with that report. A man's admitted killing his friend by careless driving. Keith Whelans was a passenger in a car which ran off a main road and hit bushes. The driver was over the alcohol limit, had no driving licence and wasn't insured.
Keith Whelans was a keen footballer and had been on the pitch playing at centre-half for South Shields FC just hours before he died. But on the evening of the 1st of March this year, he was involved in a crash on the town's John Reed Road. The car he was a passenger in ran off the carriageway and into bushes, a couple of minutes' drive from his home. Keith's family says he was on the way to the pub to meet some friends. The driver of the car Keith was travelling in was 24-year-old Daniel Ray, who today pleaded guilty to causing death by careless driving. As well as being over the alcohol limit, he had no driving licence or insurance. Keith was part of a close family, and his relatives are struggling to cope with his death. The 22-year-old left a daughter, Megan, who's nearly 3. Daniel Ray is due to be sentenced next month.
Cleveland's top police officer, the chief constable, found himself back in the front line when he stepped in to tackle a gang of men having a violent argument. He said, "They put up a bit of a fight, but I don't want to make too much of it."
Chief Constable Sean Price posing on the bonnet of his car after apparently deciding to take a more hands-on role in fighting crime. It's understood he was travelling back from a meeting to discuss crime-fighting tactics with the Mayor of Loftus when the trouble flared. A group of men were allegedly involved in a violent row on the outskirts of Broughton Village. Spotting the trouble, Mr. Price and a younger sergeant who was with him moved in to try and restore order. After calling for backup, Chief Superintendent Adrian Roberts, in charge of the Langbath Police Division, arrived on the scene to help, along with 2 other officers. The Chief Constable, it's claimed, missed an engagement in York as he booked his suspects in at Redcar Police Station, where they were held on suspicion of possessing drugs, affray and resisting arrest. They were later released on police bail. Mr. Price only started his job as Cleveland's new Chief Constable in February this year. Talking about what happened, he said simply, "As a police officer, you can't ignore what's happening in the streets."
The Mayor of Middlesbrough, Ray Mallon, is said to have been offended by racy poems sent to him by a councillor, but she says it's all been a silly mistake.
There was little doubting Ray Mallon's popularity when he swept to power in May 2002, winning the battle to become Middlesbrough's first elected mayor by a landslide. But now it's emerged someone in the council chamber has been sending the charismatic ex-cop racy writings. The work includes a reference to velvet lips, and one extract bears the line, "His virile body pressed just close enough to rouse my sleeping passion." All of this, it seems, has got some in the corridors of power at the town hall hot under the collar. The man in charge, officials say, is offended and is considering taking appropriate action to stop anything else like it dropping through the letterbox unless the correspondence comes to an end. This is the woman responsible for all the fuss, though, and she insists there's an innocent explanation. 61-year-old Jackie Elder says she was doing a creative writing course and enclosed an example of her work in correspondence as a friendly gesture. Some other work she had done, she claims, inadvertently slipped into some paperwork she sent to Mr. Mallon. So what of suggestions she might have some special feelings for the mayor?
I think it's ludicrous. I think it's totally ludicrous. I don't know the guy. I mean, you know, if I were to be in love with somebody, I need to know them for a long time. No, I'm sorry.
But no infatuation.
No infatuation.
Greggy still reporting from Middlesbrough. Well, finally from us for the moment, surgeons on Teesside have used a radical new surgical technique to help a man who's fighting an incurable brain cancer. Johnny Baker from Stockton discovered he had the tumour 3.5 years ago. Recently, he had surgical implants the size of tiddlywinks put into his brain to attack the cancer from close quarters.
I got told off, she was only a young doctor herself, and she just said that I had a brain tumour, and the first thing I said was, am I going to die? And I'm still here 3.5 years. Afterwards, after, you know, I'd say my life's been a roller coaster I've been on. So I would describe it, but I always describe that I bounce back like Tigger.
Well, that's it from the late team for now. From all of us, a very good night, and it's back to Bill Neely.